That 10:30pm and 7:30pm in the United States of America should be AM. So if you're watching this on playback, we've made a fucking ass of that. It should be AM.
Terms and conditions do not apply.
We're going live. I pressed the wrong macro. Whoa!
Live! I think.
We'll do that again, Stephen. Watch this.
It's okay, it's fine. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
There we are. Listen, we're here. And listen, I'm just glad to be here. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be alive right now. After the last 2 days, I'm very happy to be alive. Anyway, John. Listen, I'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. We're doing movie reviews on Wednesday nights once more, and we're going to be doing
the graphics, Stephen.
That's okay.
Follow the topic bar.
That's fine. That's okay. I'll say it. It's Minari, and this is the movie we need right now. That is the tagline on the poster, and I think it's some truth in that. If you've seen the film, John, this is directed by Lee Isaac Chung and stars the likes of Stephen Young, Yeri Han, Alan S. Kim, and Noel Cho, and John. We've also got Will Payton in there.
Oh, yes,
Will Payton, the great man from Armageddon and some other films.
Yes,
he's a great actor. But I'm sure we will get into talking about performances, etc. Now, John, just before we get into this movie review,
Steve, I look so big, don't I? I'm going to bring myself down.
Before we get into this movie review, we are going to be talking about our MBE Unplanned Live. Yes. We've got a date and we've got a time, folks.
And I'll bring a graphic up. Just
you've seen the graphic. Ignore the AM PM on the USA, but we'll get that fixed.
Yes.
But it is on the 30th of May 2021 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you've not got long to wait, not next year. And we will be starting the show at 3:30pm UK time, and it's 10:30am in the USA Eastern time, and 7:30am in the
Stephen,
Pacific Standard
that
Time,
graphic.
and 8pm for our Indian friends, IST, Indian Standard Time. So yeah, the show is going to be, as you can gather, unplanned. We've not got anything structured. We're not going to be talking about anything specifically. We're leaving that to you guys to fire in the questions to us, and we will also give you our email address, which is on our website and on our social media handles, etc.
Yes, I'll fire that up in a graphic for next time, Steve.
Yeah, so we can get that done as well. So you can fire questions via email, but you can also come and join us live on the day and just have a natter with us, and we will be here.
Chatter.
And we've not got a time limit on either, have we, John? We're just going to
Stephen, it's a Sunday. It's a day of rest.
So we're looking forward to that. That's the 30th of May, starting at 3:30pm UK time. And what the hell is happening here? What the hell is happening?
Nothing's
You've disappeared, John.
Yes, it's the actual cable. So
we're going to move on to the review now. But before we do, Mike has come in. Mike Porter. Hey mates, don't mind me. I've just had heart surgery on Monday. I hope you're okay, Mike. And I'm just chilling out in chat watching you guys. I hope you're fine, Mike.
Heart surgery? Wow.
Yeah.
Hope you're alright.
That's a big deal. You take care. And
my worst fear, that.
Hopefully,
heart surgery.
Hopefully you enjoy the show. It started off so splendidly.
Steve, I need to size down again, man. I don't know what's going on here. We have the same chairs,
John,
but mine seems to have a spring in it.
You have got ants in your pants tonight. I think that's what you call that. But
no, I've got a tick in the room somewhere, Stephen, and it's making me very nervous. My dog had a tick on his neck last night, and it wasn't good. So I have to find that tick. It's went loose. But Stephen,
let's get that rating system up.
We'll get this up for the people who are perhaps new here.
Thinking, what the hell is this car crash of a show?
Yes, what is this? Wow. It gets better, I hope. And this is the rating system that we utilise on this channel. F is a terrible, very, very poor movie. God awful. Think of The Fanatic from John Travolta. That's the first movie that comes to my head. That's how bad terrible is. So if a movie gets in here, then it is ghastly. Below average is D, minus through plus. it's a below average experience. It's neither horrendous nor very good. It's just below average. Average, decent, C through minus, plus is a very good watch. A lot of movies will slip in here, the likes of Hobbs and Shaw and stuff like that. Average, decent watches. Good, very good, B, minus through plus. Very good watch. Excellent movie, not quite perfection. Think of Cool Hand Luke, things like that. One of my all-time favourite movies. It slides into here, albeit B+. A is excellent perfection. The Godfather, the original Star Wars,
Shawshank
Redemption. Those kinds of movies will slip into the A range. They are absolute perfection. Not many are going to go in there, Stephen. I mean, we had the Oscar-winning Best Picture movie, and it didn't get in there for us. So, and The Father didn't get in there for us. So that is the best movies of 2020 have not slid into that A range. Needlessly to say, Stephen, that's the rating system. So we'll get right into this movie, Stephen. Breakdown of the grading setup we've done. Stephen, what did you think of this movie when you first discovered it? The first time I discovered the actual existence of Minari was the build up to the Golden Globes, and it was getting huge buzz and huge controversy in equal measures. The controversy being that it was a Korean American movie, and they had nominated
it was
in
the categorisation of the film
best foreign movie, Stephen, and people were kicking up a fuss because they didn't think it was a foreign movie. I wasn't
sure if it was that or the Academy Awards, John, but it was one of your shows anyway. It was a nomination show. You actually told me about this film, and you told me that this actually it was in the foreign category, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the Golden Globes,
an American-made film, and
American
kicking up a bit of a stramash, as we like to say in Scotland.
Yes.
And that's where it took note of it. And ever since, I've just been waiting for it to come out and obviously watch. If I'm being honest, when you gave me 3 films that were nominated in the Academy Awards, they would be in this order: Nomadland, The Father, and Minari. But now I've seen all 3 films. It's a different order.
It is a different order, Stephen. Father for me is still the best of the 3, I have to say. Just a tremendous movie, a tremendous experience, exploring that horrible disease, and what that director also crafted the theatre experience, incidentally, the actual play. What he managed to accomplish in adapting was stunning. But Stephen, I've got Minari above Nomadland, and Nomadland won the best picture, so that'll tell you how I rate this movie. Stephen, I knew it's Stephen Yeun in it, and that intrigued me because I've seen a lot of Stephen Yeun. We actually reacted to a trailer where it was an arsonist experience, a proper Korean movie with Stephen Yeun in it. I know he's a great director, he's a cool guy off the screen as well, so that had me intrigued right off the bat. Then the grandmother actor is flirting with Brad Pitt at the Oscars, so that had me intrigued as well. So I'm like, I have to go in and watch this movie, and I'm glad I did, Stephen, because it was a thoroughly enjoyable experience. That is the shot of it. If you want to bugger off now, then you've got reviews. I really enjoyed it. I rate it higher than the best picture winner at the Oscars. If you want to stick around and hear our thoughts in more detail, though, then we will certainly delve into it. Stephen, the story, man. The story, thoughts on the writing, the character development, the way it ebbed and flowed, any themes explored within. The story is a classic rags to riches gone wrong. It's the American dream. Chasing of the American dream. This Korean family come over, looking for a better life, hoping that their marriage will become better with the journey to the United States and the hopeful riches that they will achieve when they land there. They go to Nebraska. I think they go to LA initially, then they end up in Nebraska, and I think it's Jacob is chasing a farming dream. He hopes to be a successful farmer and create a good life for his children. Stephen, I love the story, man. I like the way that it ebbed and flowed, the way that the whole capitalist sort of American dream thing that enamels so many people worldwide and in the States to go and chase it, and the way that that end scene, Stephen, for me was just sublime. The actual penultimate end scene, because there is an end scene before or after the end scene with obviously the actual Minari plants, but that end scene with the whole barn thing going ablaze and the sort of poetry within that and how it shapes Jacob, that for me summed up the entire story in this movie. It's the American dream, but coming to realise that money and capitalism and buying things isn't everything. Family and friends and being alive is everything.
John, well, that's the thing. These type of films, and I'll include Nomadland in this as well, have that message in there, social message, and you're absolutely right. Don't get into these films looking for some glorious happy ending. That's not real life.
No, it's
not the way it happens.
Steve,
occasionally
so
it does,
many real
but
moments in this movie.
It's a very real film, a very real story, John. And much like Nomadland, it will leave you hanging, and that facial expression I just did there was the facial expression at the end of Nomadland, and this one to an extent as well. I felt more satisfied with this end than I did with Nomadland. I don't know why. I don't know what it was,
Stephen, because Nomadland, Frances McDormand's character, it felt unfulfilled. We've seen her go on this journey. She met this guy. She leaves.
Yeah.
She comes to terms with her existence, and then she walks out, and we don't really see her fulfilling any real ending. And so it felt unfinished.
I want to see. I want to see where she goes next. Give me another half hour of that film just to give her some closure. Yeah. This we do get some kind of closure. Obviously with Jacob and David down at the water, which was a nice little scene.
Again,
I think Jacob accepted that the way things were. You know, Ruth, thanks very much. I'm a lot better now than I was last couple of days.
Worse than the Rona, Stephen, you said?
Yeah, it was like a condensed version of the Rona.
That concerns me, Stephen. I'm not going to lie for when it's my turn.
Yeah.
Because I have a manual sort of labour job. I'm on my feet, and I think I'm going to lose money, Stephen, when I take the vaccine, because Pfizer vaccine, potentially Moderna.
Everyone's different, John. That's what I will say. You know, everyone's reacting to it differently.
Well, I like to think I'm the Lord Supreme, but I'm not. So I think I'm in trouble. Because I had it the same as you, Stephen, the Rona. It wasn't fun.
John, I'm burning up just now, but believe it or not.
It's the room.
Yeah.
It's the room. The room is ungodly warm, and I'm wearing a jumper.
Harley's arse is facing my way as well, so.
Nuclear man. Nuclear dog. Stephen, you're right. That was very real, this story, and I liked that. I liked the way they didn't shy away from the realities of life, of humanity, and the experience. There's trials and tribulations, there's peaks and troughs in life, and you see that in this movie, condensed. I think it's an hour and 2 hours long or something, this movie. And I really liked the way they didn't shy away from the harsh realities of life. And even little moments, Stephen, where the kids are sort of skipping along tiles in the hospital. That took me back to my childhood watching that. There's some brilliance and little moments captured in this movie. The two kids, the parents are having this deep discussion about the future of the relationship, of the family, of do we stay in Nebraska, do we go to LA? The kids are just off shot, jumping around in the tiles, and it took me back to when I was a little kid, skipping every second tile. Little things, just capture.
Real,
yeah, it sort of, I don't know, envelops the audience, but it makes these characters a little bit more richer. They feel real. The kids aren't actors, they're not stiff like Daisy Ridley in Star Wars. They're actual little kids down.
And they're not acting like child stars either.
No.
You know, that kind of Noah way.
Very real.
Very real.
Stephen, what did you make about the way the characters developed in this movie? Because I tell you, man, there's numerous characters in this movie within the family unit alone, and they all develop for me. The little, maybe the little girl.
Monica, John. Monica doesn't develop. She's very consistent throughout.
I suppose you're right.
She has a more sort
consistently negative.
Yeah, realistic. I would give her more credit for being a realistic person rather than pessimistic. I don't know if that's the case. I think she's concerned. Obviously, she's got the
she doesn't want to be in Nebraska, Steve.
The mother and obviously the kids as well, and she doesn't want to be there. She's got no friends as well. That was something that was highlighted as well.
That was a good moment.
And it's the isolation, John. So you can understand, but yeah, you're right. The character development throughout, John. I thought the kids,
Jacob and the little boy for me, Stephen, were the best. The grandmother has some development, but it's reverse development. She's sort of, I think is it David, the little boy?
Yeah, David. Yeah,
she's trying to nurture him, almost comfort him. He's scared. He doesn't want to go to sleep.
He doesn't like her.
He doesn't like her. But Stephen, that relationship develops for me. It does. It gets better. And funnily enough, it's when he pees in a cup. That's the sort of moment where it kickstarts the relationship, because they've got this love-hate. At least when he pees in the cup, it shocks her. She's like, there's a little bit of bedevilment in this little guy. There's a bit of rebellion. I like that. And they sort of developed thereafter. I don't think she liked the taste of his piss, but it sort of developed the relationship after that. And there was development.
Do you know the best bit about that was, John? He put his boots on. That was the other thing. I loved those little boots he wore. But the thing was, he put his boots on and he had his hand on the door waiting for a reaction before he left. He wanted to get the reaction before he left the caravan. What is that? A kind of
a sort of mobile home, yes.
On wheels,
travel home, yeah. Stephen, obviously a little rush as well. This guy's got a flow mama. He's got heart issues, and he can't really exercise for fear of dropping dead immediately. So there's a little rush there as well. He's breathless, but that thumbs in his head. I think that it maybe isn't as close to death as his parents. His mother in particular keeps saying that he is. He overhears them speaking at one point, and that's when he has that tender moment with his grandmother. Stephen, standout moments in this movie though. We've not really talked about the themes explored. We'll get into that though. We'll get into that and the ending, I'm sure. Standout moments. I had a few. The peeing in the cup. That was brilliant. I laughed my head off at that. Will Payton's character completely in this movie. Just a crackpot, mad as brush character.
Carrying the cross.
Carrying the cross.
Yeah. Repenting
for his sins. He went to the Korean War. Yeah. He's been affected greatly by that. Clearly get PTSD. This is set in the 1980s, Stephen. They didn't really identify PTSD back then.
No.
The guy's clearly mentally ill. He's got issues.
He was amazing, John.
But he's still an interesting and Stephen, there's an attempted exorcism at one point in this movie, and the shot, just absolute dynamite. They're all following him around the house and just playing along with this loon ball exorcism, but not Jacob. Jacob sits in his chair, centre of the shot. There's some amazing wide shots in this movie, but when he sits in the chair, just not interested, not impressed one bit. He says to him, do you want me to pray for you? And he just looks at him and says, why? He touches his shoulder and he looks at his hand. I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. I love it. I love Stephen Yeun in this movie, man. But that was the Will Payton character, Paul, in this movie. He's just incredible, man. Just plays a brilliant role. He's a crackpot, but he plays it so well. And Stephen, I can't believe how old he's got, man. This guy, I think, is in his 70s now or something.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy from the 90s when he was fairly youthful.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind how it's like the Sticky Bandits, the older guy, not Joe Pesci, the other guy. He's got a fucking beard now. He's white. I'm like, what is going on here?
Daniel Stern.
These guys are aging, and it terrifies me, Stephen.
I know.
But amazing in this movie.
Yeah, Jordan, standout moment for me. It was that moment with the fire. For me, it was just, it summed the whole thing up. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know what it was. I thought perhaps, and you know, I was dreading it would be David dying or something like that from a heart attack or something like that. I knew something bad was going to happen.
It was a come to Jesus moment for him.
Yeah, it was.
In terms of his mentality, what he deems important to him. Because he'd lost touch with reality, Stephen. The actual hospital scene where she says to him, what if we have to go? Well, I'll have to stay then. I'm finishing what I started. That's what splits them up. They're nearly separating. They have that sort of argument. Well, not argument, it's just a realisation that they're going different ways. She can't follow him in Nebraska. She can't stay with no water, scrounging around in this wilderness. But that moment, Steve, when the barn goes on fire, it's an amazing scene, man. I think it's a standout scene in the entire movie. Just poetic. The way that it takes some full circle. They're chasing the American dream. And then in that scene, he realises it's not all about the American dream. It's about my family, about me, about my wife. Even the grandmother, she's walking away. And the little kids chase after her. They've hated her the whole movie.
Yeah.
And they chase after her and say, where are you going? They want her to be part of a unit.
Yeah.
The family connect. It bonds the whole family.
John, they're lying on the floor in the mobile home as well, you know,
together.
When they're all together, and I think the grandmother's looking down on them and seeing them all together. That was a kind of poignant moment as well in the film. But I think that was a standout. You described some of the best. The exorcism one was it was really good. It was well shot as well, John, as well as being a really well written shot scene. It was also just visually the way you described that was perfect.
And Stephen, it's just the sound effects he was making. It was like Derek Acora from Most Haunted.
Yeah.
Sam. I wonder how Derek's getting on.
On the other side.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Oh, terrible, John. Small moment I mentioned, the little kids. I like that. Obviously, Stephen, the end scene as well. We see the grandmother trying to imbue some wisdom on the little boy, David. She takes him down to the riverside. They look at the Minari plants. Or herbs, whatever.
Herbs.
And herbs. And he sees the snake on the branch and he tries to throw a rock at it. And she's like, look, don't throw a rock at it. You'll scare it away and put it into hiding. At least we can see it, enjoy it. The most dangerous animals are the ones that hide and are out of sight. That was a great piece of wisdom.
Snakes are good at that.
Yeah, they are. I love snakes though. I don't like spiders. Spiders are sly creatures. They're for the watching. Snakes are very in your face. They can hide, but they're in your face when you step across them. Spiders.
That's why you say like a snake in the grass.
Yes, that's Stephen. I'm the year of a snake, so it's my spirit animal. So I have an affinity with snakes, and I didn't like that little guy throwing that rock at the snake, I have to say. But he get taught an important lesson, and at the same time, we see the wisdom of the grandmother, and that she's planting this Minari plant. He thinks the rich, Fairtail Land at the farm is the best place. She's picked the perfect spot, and in the final scene in the movie, they go and pick these plants, and I think he says to David, Jacob, she's picked the perfect place here for these plants to keep growing back.
I know you can only speculate because the film ends and you don't know what happens after. What do you think this is? Do you think this is the start of something big, something maybe just to...
I don't think they stay there, Stephen. I don't think they stay there. I think they lay the rock, and that's them sort of coming to peace with this land and having to walk away. I think that's just a realisation that there is a market for Korean food there. I think they probably move away and utilise the Minari plant or something like that. I don't know. I think he realises with the meeting with the guy that there's loads of Koreans coming over. Yeah. There's a market for that food, the vegetables, the herbs, and he'll get into it somewhere else. I don't think they stay in Nebraska because the family are just completely separate. They're fractious. And that little mobile home... Arkansas, was it Arkansas? Sorry, Arkansas, I keep saying Nebraska because I'm a fan of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Nebraska. That is the one, isn't it? Twirling her baton, me and her. I'll not sing, but I do like Bruce Springsteen, man. That's why I'm saying Nebraska. Stephen, Arkansas is perfectly... It is Arkansas, isn't it?
Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas.
We would pronounce that Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas is perfectly captured in this movie. There's some stunning wide shots. That was another standout of this movie for me. I don't know who the cinematographer is. I searched it up earlier, but my memory's not good enough to remember it. But some of the wide shots are momentous, and not just to capture the beauty of Arkansas, but the actual state of mind of the characters. Jacob, numerous times, is front and centre in an amazing wide shot on his own.
Yeah.
A guy that is on his own in this family unit. He's been rejected by his wife and stuff like that, and you see a shot in particular, I think he's crying nearly, and maybe not crying, but he's smoking a cigarette, and he's sort of... I've got a word for it, I've actually got it written down, but I can't find the word for the life of me at the moment, but he's sort of blissful. Not blissful. What's the word I'm looking for, man? I can't recall, but he's lonesomely thinking and on his own, and it's captured stunningly with the cinematographer. And then little shots of the hose and stuff like that. Contemplating, that's the word. He's contemplative. Just amazing shots, and the shot of him sitting in the chair. Just a brilliant cinematography, Stephen. Just captures little moments.
Yeah. The
kids off shot. Just a brilliantly crafted movie for me. And that was a standout for me in the entire movie. I've not really got anything else here. I'm trying to think if I'll get any other moments that really grabbed me. Brad Pitt executive produced it. That was a moment at the end. Yeah. And the actual credits. I'm like, what? Brad Pitt executive produced this movie. The grittiness, Stephen, as well. The grittiness of the story. We touched upon that, though. It was real. It felt...
It did, yeah.
Real. It wasn't tarted up for Hollywood, if you like. It was very gritty. It focused on this family's plight, their struggle, the broken marriage, the grandmother coming in and trying to save it away, but almost fucking ending it. She burns the barn down. So, and Stephen, we'll get into, I'm sure, performance. In fact, we'll get into performances now, unless you've got anything else to say about standout moments.
No, I think you covered most of that. And the one for me was obviously the fire. That was the one that stood out to me. It was the peak moment of the film for me.
It was. Stephen, this is going to be a disaster. Try to find standout performers. Now, there's a couple, I tell you, but for me, it's the one that actually wins the Oscar that's a standout performer, and I think she's way down here. I'm trying to find her.
Is it Sunya?
It's no, it's the one I've got up there, Stephen. Can you read that name up there, man? Yulong Yun, is that it? Yulong Yun. It's the grandmother.
That's is that not Sunya?
Sunya, yeah. Is it Sunya? Is that the actual character name? Yeah. Yu Jung Yun. Yeah, that's her. She was a standout performer for me, Stephen. The way she captured that grandmother, the way that she had the stroke and stuff like that, a really poignant character for me, and an important character. She comes in and she hones the mindset of David. She brings the family together at the end. Yeah. She plants the Minari plant.
That remedy, that drink, the sort of brown drink they were feeding to David, do you think that was helping him?
No.
You know when they went
Preferred the Mountain Dew.
Yeah. do you think, though, you know when he went to get his checkup and they were saying that the hole was closing, do you not think that had anything to do with it?
I think it was just them.
Or do you think it was just nature taking its course?
Just nature, Stephen, the fresh air away from that foggy, sort of smoggy landscape of Los Angeles, running about, having kids around him. I think that just helped him. I think it was just the heart closing. Stephen, there was actually a little guy that died in my school back in the day with a hole in the heart, haunting.
Yeah.
I think about things like that, you know. I'm 32 now. That little guy died when he was 2. Stephen Yeun, Lachlan Milne is the cinematographer. Lachlan Milne was unbelievable, man. The cinematography was what captured me. a lot with this movie. Some of the wide shots, some of the way he captured emotions, close-ups, just incredibly shot movie. I'll be keeping an eye on that guy. I'm a guy that likes my cinematographers, the likes of Hoyt van Hoytema, the great Roger Deakins, people like that. So I'll be keeping an eye on him because it was tremendous. Stephen, that was a standout performer for me, but the great Stephen Yeun as well. I just love this guy. I've been watching him since The Walking Dead. He was brilliant as Jacob. He had a lot of the weight of this movie on him. A guy try to keep his family unit together, but try to be successful in his own way. And then little David as well, Stephen. Little David, I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
What was your standout performer, Stephen? I'll stop
John,
speaking.
no, it's fine. It's okay. Listen, you've got to get your bit in. Stephen Yeun, for me, is obviously, out with obviously Will Payton, is probably the most established actor in the film for me that I know of. But something about Alan S. Kim's performance as David, for someone so young, it came across very wise.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a Macaulay Culkin know-all way, Kevin McAllister way, or the little kid from The Sixth Sense. Mm-hmm. There's just something that they don't act like an adult. I don't know if that's the perfect description of the way they portray kid actors back in the day, but there's something about he plays a kid like a kid.
Yeah.
He knows who he is, he knows where he's at, he knows the situation. And I thought Alan S. Kim, for the duration of the film, John, and his relationship obviously with his grandmother, Sunja, was perfect. He didn't like her, he hated her at the start. Yeah. She was giving him that horrible juice, that horrible drink. Kids don't like taking stuff they don't like, and they're going to hate the person that's giving them it. Yeah. But that
she smells like Korea.
You've never been to Korea. Yeah, it was a great line. But John, you're right. And I think that was probably the best relationship in the film for me, was the grandson and the grandmother. Yeah. For me, anyway. Yeah. So that was one of the sort of standout performances was Alan S. Kim. Stephen Yeun carried the film. Mm-hmm. For me, he did carry the film. Every scene was connected to him in some way. Will Payton, for all the time he was in it, performed.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah, it just felt like it was in the entire film, but he wasn't. But he was just so prominent, and he hit the ball out of the park every time he was on the scene. But for me, it's probably Stephen Yeun. I think just because the film is focused on his character mostly, and I think it's his story, and it's his journey from start to finish. Where he starts off, where he hopes to be, and where it ends up. It's all about his character Jacob, and it's down to this man Stephen Yeun.
Stephen, he did get nominated for Best Actor. It was just a shame he was in a category with Chadwick Boseman and Anthony Hopkins.
Exactly, yeah.
Because any other year he would have had a real good chance of winning, because it was a sublime performance.
Yeah.
He get nominated consistently at the other award ceremonies. Stephen, I'm looking at the other things that this movie get nominated in. It only won one, and it was Ju Young for the grandmother, which was surprising to me, because there was a lot going on in this movie. He's one of my favourite. Yeah, I enjoy Stephen. I think he's a great actor, man. And I was very upset when he got his brain bashed in The Walking Dead. That so much so, Stephen, that actually put me off the show. I actually walked away from the show. I watched a couple more episodes.
I hate when that happens, John. I hate when that happens. You sort of grow to like a character, and then something happens to them. It affects you, doesn't it?
Yeah, Stephen, I walked away. It was, that had some amazing actors in it as well, man. Norman Reedus, Abraham, Andrew Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
Blackface.
A blackface, yes. Stephen, Best Picture, it get nominated for, again, a stacked category this year. Best Actor, Stephen Yeun. Best Director, Lee Isaac Chung. Sadly, we had Chloe Zhao in there, so he was screwed, really.
Yeah.
Or she, I presume it's a he. Best Original, I've not actually looked. Best Original Screenplay, Lee Isaac Chung. And the Best Score, Emily Mazzeri. Stephen, the score as well, I loved. I actually searched up.
John, Lee Isaac Chung was born in 1978.
78?
Yeah, 1978. This guy is only 43.
Mind-blowing,
isn't it?
He's so young. When you think of some of the directors out just now, Stephen, the likes of Nolan, probably.
I'm older than him.
How old is Nolan? He must be in his early 50s as well.
Yeah, I would say
Edgar
so.
Wright. There's some brilliant directors out there.
But Nolan's been out for the last 20 odd years.
Exactly.
So he's been doing it in his early 30s.
Look at Lokesh, Stephen, over in India. Lokesh Khanna Garage, man. He's just dynamite, and he's late 30s or something. So there's some great young directors out there. Yes, I was furious when they killed him off. Yeah, I'm telling you, I walked away from the show. I watched maybe a couple of episodes. I enjoyed Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan, but I had to walk away because it put me off. Stephen, Big Country song. I searched up I actually listened to the screenplay afterwards. Not the screenplay, what am I talking about? The soundtrack. Fucking stroke here. The soundtrack after this,
John, it's a good soundtrack.
I really enjoyed it, man. Big Country. There was a weird effect, Stephen. It was
Not
almost
Big
like the start.
Country. Not the Scottish Big Country.
No, it was the actual song, Big Country.
Yeah.
I like Big Country as well. They're brilliant. What was that robber movie, Stephen, with them?
Restless Natives.
Restless Natives, yeah. I know you'd know it, Stephen, because you actually get me into that and Big Country, funnily enough. Stephen, the score was amazing, man. It had a weird sort of...
John, I thought it was a bit of fusion between Eastern and Western.
Yeah.
Sort of sounds going on
Kind
in
of
it.
weird synth thing going on.
Yeah.
Really, really good score, especially in the emotive moments. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Aided the movie greatly. And Stephen, I was speaking about the best scores at the Oscars and Tenet being missing, Ludwig Göransson, but I tell you, that deserved to be in there. And I'm going to watch Soul, because apparently that is amazing. And it did win, I think, for score. So I take it back. Ludwig was brilliant, but there is some amazing scores in here, and that being one. Stephen, I'm going to have to bring the guideline back up because I don't know where the hell we are here. Technical stuff we spoke about. Editing, I thought this was sublimely edited, man. It was 2 hours long. That's the Shangri-La for movies. Yep. If you can get a 2-hour movie that pops, keeps your attention, has amazing development, good themes being explored, you have hit the Shangri-La. That's what Spielberg and George Lucas and stuff like that always want in a movie, a 2-hour succinct movie of high quality. This movie is succinct, high quality, develops the characters, explores amazing themes, has emotive moments, has rush moments of maybe, I don't know, adrenaline. I loved it, man. I thought the edit was dynamite, bang on.
I think so, John. I think when you get these kind of films that they're not going to have any action, it's mostly drama based, you're going to get that pacing, and editing's got a lot to do with that. I think you've got to get that right, especially in a film that's not got a lot of emotion in it.
Think of Star Wars, Stephen.
Yeah.
That was a disaster until they edited it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Exactly. You know, and I think there's always those sort of exterior shots to sort of, you know, the ones where you use the crickets and stuff like that, the sounds, you know, outside shots, that kind of thing, that works well in this kind of these surroundings. I thought the editing was fantastic as well. There wasn't anything I don't think it was anything jarring at all.
No.
But it was great. It was fantastically edited.
It was, Stephen. Look, overall thoughts on this, Stephen. We didn't really get into themes again. We did. It's the sort of American dream, and just try to chase it. It doesn't work out for everyone. You hear of the success stories, Bill Gates and things like that, Elon Musk, these people that rise to the top from nothing.
Handful of people. Yeah.
Yes, it's a very small number. You don't see the people who fail. Well, they don't fail as such because they've realised that the most important thing in life isn't riches. Well, it certainly helps, but it's family and being at peace and having a healthy relationship. That's what that's for me what the core theme is. Finding what is most important in life. Rise and fall, sort of American dream. That was what it was like for me, Stephen. That's what I thought, John, the core themes were, and it was handled very, very well for me.
That's exactly what I got from it as well. That's why I said, you know, I felt more satisfied with the ending of this film than I did with Nomadland. I just felt Nomadland had still a little bit more story to tell, and it would have gave me more satisfaction, and probably I would like to film a little bit more. This film gave me what I wanted. I wasn't, as I said, John, I was expecting something disastrous to happen at the end. Kind of got that. I thought he was going to die, yeah. But at the end of the day, you wait up, they've still got their lives. They've still got together. They've still got each other. And
the fact that he tried to go in and save the produce, that was important to him, and then he realised, where is it? I think he was shouting honey.
Yeah. He
couldn't find his wife, and then he says, fuck it, I've got my wife, get out, screw the produce. That was a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah,
it was just an amazingly crafted scene, Stephen. It was absolutely brilliant. I didn't realise it was based on a autobiographical. I'll slow it right down.
I didn't know that.
I think there was also a realism because it was semi-autobiographical. I'm trying to say that word. I didn't know that. Well, that certainly helps. What did they say? It was a screenplay adapted. It was best original, so he's obviously enhanced it a bit. But yeah, that's probably right. That's probably why when you've got real life stories to mine off of, then it certainly does help the experience. Stephen, overall thoughts, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was brilliant. I get round to watching it finally. I had it for a good bit and I didn't actually watch it. I'm glad I did, because for me, Stephen, I think it was, I keep saying it, I think it was a better movie than Nomadland. I thought The Father was a better movie than Nomadland. I think Chloe Zhao deserved to win Best Director because the performance she got out of Frances McDormand was sublime. She has an artistic flourish to her that's caught the eye of Kevin Feige. I think she deserved that. But for movies, Stephen, that's now 2 movies in that category I think were better than Nomadland. So there's been a disservice done there.
Yeah, John, I'm going to just end. Ruth says loosely based on director Lee Isaac Chung's life. So
there you go.
That's very interesting. So it's a pet project. But John, I'll just end my thoughts on saying I'm glad I watched it because it was a very fulfilling story. I loved the acting in it. thought the performances were great. The characters were relatable, and it's a story that's it can happen to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, it's all about the American dream going wrong this time. I'm not bummed about that. I don't need their fairy tale endings or anything like that. I thought the ending was just perfect.
And Stephen, just to finally throw in the whole Korean thing as well, them landing in America, there's a lot of hate crimes against Asians over in America just now, showing you that not everyone's hateful. There was some people who wanted to welcome them in. It was a mainly welcoming community. Even the little guy's friend's father says, help your father out on the farm. So that was an important message, that they're no different to us, man. Everybody is the same. We're all humans. So it was an important message in this time where there's a lot of hate against Asians because of COVID, which is just ridiculous. And again, good representation, nearly whole, well, not nearly whole, but a predominantly Asian cast, predominantly Asian crew. That's great to see, man. It's great to see that they're getting more different people behind the camera, in front of the camera in Hollywood. It's not just dominated by white people. So that's another positive for this movie.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to go and watch more Korean movies, man. I do love them. We also watched Boon Jong-ho. Before I round this up, I'm not going to go off too far, but there's just a way about Korean movies, man. The way they're crafted, it's clinical, but it does have heart and emotion in it.
Definitely.
But it's just the way they explore society, satire. It's just fantastic, man. I just love the Korean experience in movies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch more. I'm going to go and watch that one. I can't recall what it was actually called. It's sort of arsonist one. I'm going to watch that with Stephen Yoon.
Yeah.
But Stephen, rating for this movie. Do you want to go first? What are you giving this movie, Stephen?
I'm giving this a B.
A B. Boom. And so, oh shit, wrong one. Do it again. That's what I'm giving the movie as well, Stephen. I'm giving it a B as well. There we go. I need to do something with that rating. It's just, there's something missing. It needs a sound or something. Yeah, or a clapping, or a something like that. Stephen, I think I rated Nomadland a B minus. I think I rated The Father a B plus. I've rated that a B. They're all very good movies for me, but there is a hierarchy, and for me, that is better than Nomadland. That's why it's got a B, man. Yep. But look, that's going to round it up. I'm sweating like an absolute you-know-what here, Stephen. It's unbelievably warm in this room. There's not one, there's not two, but there is 3 lights. I have a light glued to my face because I'll show you why I've got a light glued to my face. You see, if I don't have that light, look at that. Wow. So I need that light, but it emits an unbelievable amount of heat. So I'm absolutely dying here. I've went with the jumper get up. But that's going to, what is it? Yeah, no more comments. I'm actually going to comment. That's going to round up the review. What is your thoughts on Minari? Have you seen it? What's your thoughts on the performances in this? Who was your standout? Was it Stephen Yoon? Was it Grandmother? You can comment below. What's your thoughts on the movie or review? If you've got anything to share and you feel compelled to put it down in the comment section, that is the place for it. You can also like the video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see us over there. It's my first picture as a director. And if you do, you'll get us again. If you don't, that's fine, guys. But until then, I am done. Stephen's done. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Can you hear that dog chewing on that bone there? Wow. Wow, Harley.